running, dead.
There is blood, gore, hence violent news. Just want to make sure my audio is okay.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Digital Woods for another Warhammer 40k game. This time we're going to be doing a 1,000-point game, and as with all those, this is going to be the pre-game show for that, where we talk about our army comp and the rules of the game mode that we're going to be doing today. So Tom is going to be playing the
Iron Hands Space Marine chapter,
and I'm going to be playing a combined arms kind of detachment of Genestealer Bladed Cog and Hive Fleet Kraken Tyranids. And without further ado, let's get into the armies. However, because this is the pre-game show, and if you want to skip it and get right to the action, check the link below and go right to the main game. Without further ado, here's our armies. Alright, so here's going to be my army for this game. It's going to be a mix of Genestealer Cult Bladed Cog and Hive Fleet Kraken Tyranids. And we'll get to the Tyranids in a bit. So for my warlord for this, it's going to be a Magus. He's going to be carrying an auto pistol and a force stave. His psychic powers are going to be mass hypnosis, and his warlord trait for this one is going to be Shadow Stalker. Next for HQs, for Genestealers, I have a Primus carrying around with him a bone sword. His relic that he's going to be carrying is going to be Mark of the Claude Omnissiah for this one. And for troops, for the Genestealer cult, I'm going to be bringing 3 groups of 10 neophyte hybrids. The first group of that is going to be carrying with it 2 mining lasers and a grenade launcher. The second group is going to be carrying a mining laser and a seismic cannon and a grenade launcher. And then the last group is just going to be carrying a seismic cannon and a mining laser. The rest of their guns are just going to be the standard auto guns. Next, for elites, for the Genestealer cult, is going to be a group of 5 aberrants, all with their standard rending claws, bringing in power picks, and the hypermorph for that group is going to be carrying a heavy improvised weapon. And filling out the rest of my list is going to be the Hive Fleet Kraken Tyranids, where I'm bringing a Brood Lord and his standard gear, and his psychic power for this one is going to be Catalyst. Next, for troops for that one, I'm bringing a group of 20 Genestealers, all carrying rending claws and scything talons, and they're also going to be bringing 5 flesh hooks. Next in that list is going to be a heavy support Carnifex with monstrous crushing claws, a pair of monstrous scything talons. He's also going to be upgraded with adrenal glands, toxin sacs, bioplasma, spore cysts, and finally chitin thorns. And that's my army.
Okay folks, this is going to be my 1,000 point battalion detachment of Iron Hands. Let's start off with my warlord. He is going to be a captain in Terminator armor, and he is going to be kitted out with a relic blade, storm shield, the relic, the eternal shield, and you will have the warlord trait Storm of Fire. And I'm also going to be spending 3 command points to upgrade him to Chapter Master, giving out some unique benefits through him. Moving on to my second HQ choice, I've got another captain. This is just a regular captain, and he is going to have himself a Power Fist and a Kami Plasma. Moving on to my third HQ choice, I've got myself a Tech Marine. And this guy's got loads of weapons. He's got himself the Combi Flamer, and he's going to have the Servo Harness, which is going to give himself the Plasma Cutter, Flamer, 2 servo arms, and he's going to be upgraded with a Power Fist. So he's got plenty of guns and some decent melee. Moving on to my troop choice, I've got 3 identical squads of 5-man tactical. In each squad, the sergeant is rocking bolt pistols, chainsword, and there is a flamer in each squad. Moving on, I've got a dedicated transport of a Razorback with twin las cannons and a Storm Bolter. And for an elite slot, I've got a Venerable Dreadnought. And the Dreadnought has twin las cannons as well, a Dreadnought close combat weapon, and a Storm Bolter. For heavy support, I've got myself a squad of 5 Devastators. The Sergeant is rocking a bolt gun, and the rest of the Devastators are armed with missile launchers. My second heavy support, I've got a Stalker with its Icarus storm cannons and a Storm Bolter on that as well. And that's it for my 1,000 point battalion detachment of Iron Hands. Alright, and this is the board after we have set up the battlefield and randomly rolled off for what we are going to be playing for this 1,000 point game. And we got the Maelstrom mission from the 2018 chapter approved book, Decapitation Strike. This is a pretty interesting one, as there are 6 tactical objectives around the board, which are pretty standard for Maelstrom missions. But in this one, each player generates 3 tactical objectives at the start of their turn, up to a maximum of 6. And at the beginning of the game, both players can discard up to 6 tactical objectives from their tactical objective deck, kind of restricting things that they don't think they'll be able to get throughout the game, and increasing their chances on getting some nifty objectives. And we've already gone ahead and done that. In addition to that, there is the high value target special rule that says each time you kill a character of the other team, that player must immediately discard one of their active tactical objectives, and if that is the warlord that is slain, they must discard D3 active tactical objectives, which could really mess up somebody in like the fight phase, trying to get no prisoners or blood and guts, and their warlord dies and they lose that.
Oh, absolutely. That could be just terrible.
In addition to that, the sudden death rules for match play are not in effect, which means if for some reason, say, Mike got 14 victory points versus my 7, but I table Mike, the game still continues, and if I don't make up the difference, Mike wins because of points at the end of it. Variable game length is in play. Slay the Warlord. First strike, which is if you can kill an enemy unit in turn 1, and Linebreaker are in play. So we have finished putting out the objectives. We have yet to roll off to see who picks the deployment type and the deployment zone. So we'll go ahead and do that now. Alright, you get to pick the deployment type and your zone.
Alright, I'm going to be picking I believe it's Hammer and Anvil.
So short side versus short side?
Yes.
Okay, and then which side would you like?
I will pick the side with 2 objectives in the starting zone.
Fair enough. Alright. So I'll start deploying first, and we'll see who finishes first. Be back in a moment. Alright, and we've now finished deploying everything for the game. Mike has a decent number of models hiding in his special ambush stuff. His Tyranid forces out in the open, getting ready to move up the board. In Deep Strike, you have your Aberrants and
Primus, yes.
For my deployment, pretty straightforward. Line hanging back a wee bit, along with my Tech Marine and 1 squad inside the Razorback, just to help my deployment. And then everything else is just deployed on the board, ready to jump up there in case that becomes an objective I need.
Fair enough.
Otherwise, they might just fall back. Yeah. So I finished deploying first by 1 deploy. So that is lucky. So let us roll off to see who has turn 1 as we go into this.
Here we go.
With the +1 for finishing first, I have a 6. I'm definitely going to choose to go first. Do you seize?
Let's see if I seize. No, that's a 2.
So it's going to be Iron Hands turn 1 as we go into it. If you want to see the actual game, check out the link down below. And that's going to be it for the pregame show.
We'll see you there.